Testing, testing. You want to take this one?
Thank you. We'll work with it and see. But it's going in there. Thank you. All right, greetings, everyone. Thank you all for being here at the Blackest Church in Memphis and Shelby County for
Testing.
Mid-South Kwanzaa's 2024-2025 Kwanzaa season. And at this time, I'd like to call up the president of Mid-South Kwanzaa, O Supermoon.
Abaragani. Yeah, it's good to look out and see all of your faces. Got a full house, and this is the way it should be. Okay, we're gonna have our Okay, we want to be thankful for being in this place, and we're going to call up the pastor, Reverend Earl Fisher, and let him give us a few words of wisdom. Reverend Earl.
Baragani. Habaragani. Well, let me formally welcome you to the Blackest Church in Memphis and Shelby County. If you didn't know, that's where you are. It's literally written like right when you walk in, and you can check. Of course, when you are at the Blackest Church in Memphis, you have to always be ready to do stuff impromptu and adjust. There are remarks that I'm going to have to make later, so I won't make too many of them right now, but I will do some housekeeping. And let me again reiterate how grateful we are to have each of you here. I'm thankful to the Mid-South Kwanzaa, who has been coming to this location over the last several years on this day, and I think it's the perfect way and the perfect place to celebrate black faith. So if you just so happen to use the restroom or need to use the restroom, if you go straight through those double doors, the first door on the left is the one for the men. The second door on the left is the one for the ladies. I am here. Reverend Darrell Bryant is here. Wave your hand, Reverend Darrell. Queen Mother Lisa Bennett is there in the back. There's a few more Abyssinians around here. Don't hesitate to ask any of us any housekeeping questions that you might have. I hope you make yourself at home, because you are really at home every time you come to this space. Please consider yourself to be at home. And again, welcome to the Blackest Church in Memphis and Shelby County, and I'll be back later on. And if anybody asks you, don't forget, I'm the senior pastor of Abyssinian, I'm the lead janitor, I'm the head usher, I am the custodian, I'm the security guard, I'll mop the floor, I'll cook the food, but if I burn something up, then they're gonna have to pay the bill, all right? Now, thank y'all for being here. Y'all give it up for the MC of the evening, from Abyssinian as well, Queen Mother Colleen Howell Blaine.
All right, so without further ado, is Brother Omar here? All right, so we are going to improvise, and Brother Ekpe is going to come up and join us, and he is going to do libations. But before we do that, if you look at your program, there are libations to the ancestors written in oral. So if you guys would join us. Oh. No, we need to do the African pledge. So if we could have Sister Ernestine Fraction come up.
Could we all stand, please? We're going to do the African pledge. Bargani, Bargani, Bargani. This is our African pledge. We are an African people. We will remember the humanity, glory, and sufferings of our ancestors and honor the struggle of our elders. We will strive to bring new values and new life to our people. We will have peace and harmony among us. We will be loving, sharing, and creative. We will work, study, and listen so we may learn, learn so we may teach. We will cultivate self-reliance. We will struggle to resurrect and unify our homeland. We will raise many children for our nation. We will have discipline, patience, devotion, and courage. We will live as models to provide new direction for our people. We will be free and self-determining. We are African people. We will win. We will win. We will win. I'll say.
Yeah, we're gonna do it the way we do it.
Read this. I'm gonna leave that. We are gonna do it. Let me do it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we're going to do the libations to the ancestors. We are going to be call and response again. If you look, I'm going to be the libator, and you guys are going to be the audience. So, if you will. We call upon our ancestors far and near, Father of our fathers, to render mercy to the liberation and victory of our people. We call upon the spirit of our children to witness what we have done, to learn strength from us, and be not afraid as we are not afraid. It is done, Ashe. And at this time, Brother Ekpe is going to come to us with libations.
Baragani. 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 We want to welcome everyone to this last day of Kwanzaa. Can everyone say Ashe? Ashe. How many people know what Ashe means? It's an African word. And it's very important that we begin to use our African dialects because words have power. How many of us saw Roots and we watched Kunta Kinte when he was beaten to make him say his name was what? It lets you know how powerful our language is. For someone to make you not want to call your own name, to change your language, to change your culture. So that word, Ashe, means so be it. It is done. It's a word of power, a word of affirmation to say if it can be done, it will be done. In other words, it's connected to our birthright. So we want to understand what we're doing here. Kwanzaa is about celebration and education. It is a cultural celebration. No matter what your religion is, it doesn't matter. Let me ask this. How many people have ancestors? Raise your hand. I I know it's a rhetorical question, right? No one gave birth to themselves, obviously. So that's what libation is about, paying tribute to our ancestors. That's why we do libation. So now we have to ask permission to do libation. Is there anyone here in that night? Anyone in that night? In that night? Not, but you trying to give her a hand, give her a hand. Creative wheels, we'll get to be there. Creative wheels, we'll get to be there. So we have to ask permission that we do respectfully, culturally, then we continue to libation. And there's always duality in the universe. Male and female, day and night, the heavens and the earth, the sun and the moon, black and white, day and night, life and death. Always duality in the universe. Always. So I'd like to know who is the youngest one in the room. Youngest one, oh, we have this. How old is this one? 3. Anybody younger than 3? Any younger than 3? Go on once, go on twice. May we continue libation? May we continue? What was that? May we continue? Well, the reason we do that is this, because in the tradition, we always respect the elders. Did I say sometimes? Always. Y'all don't black in the day. Y'all ain't black in the day. We have to respect those elders. No matter what. Whether you agree with them or not, that's not the issue. Whether you agree with them or not, that is not the issue. And so, we ask permission from the elder. And also, the young one, the reason why we do that is we have to pass these traditions on to our children. So they will know. Once they know, they'll know how to conduct themselves. So when we involve them and recognize them, they say, yeah, I'm somebody. Ask them my question, yeah. That's why we do this. So we continue with libation. They say as long as you call a person's name, the spirit of that person is still around. And they say there are always 3 people in the village. Those of us who we physically see, those who are yet to be born, and those who are spiritually. All of them are here. We can look around and see us physically, but those others are here with us also. They're here. The oldest remains that they found on the planet Earth was an African woman. Dr. Joseph B. African. Some of y'all may know we call him Dr. Ben, one of our great elders, ancestors who passed away. He called her Bessnet. And Amharic, they call her Dicknet. And even when the Europeans went, they went to study, they called her Lucy. You may have heard that name. But we like to call what I say those Africans. The oldest remains on the planet was an African woman. So what we have here, we have some earth from the motherland. It's something I just brought back. I just got back from 4 black countries. I went to Morocco, went to Senegal, went to the Gambia, and I went to Harlem. You should go there sometime. Go check it out. So, earth from the motherland, the oldest remains. So we respect the divine African feminine. We respect the divine African feminine. That's what we call African motherland. Oldest remains anywhere on the planet. That's why we say Mother Earth. That's why we say Mother Nature. That's why we say Mommy Water in some of the traditions. We all originate from that. No matter what skin tone you may have today, you originate from the African mother and father. That African mother and that father. So we celebrate the divine feminine because that's what we all came to, the divine African mother. We came to that. Water is very important. Water symbolizes life. And what we have today, that water, you put some in it. This water just brought back from the Gambia root. You saw roots, they said it can be Bolongo. This water, some of this water that we have here is from the Gambia root. Water symbolizes life. It symbolizes the wisdom that the Creator gives us that flows from one generation to the next to bring us to where we are today. We have to have water to live. Sometimes we eat too much food, but we need water. So that's what that symbolizes. So we're going to call the names of our ancestors. And when we call those names, what's that word that we ask everyone to say?
Ashe.
And I said it's a word of power, right? So how are we going to say it?
Ashe.
So as we do this, I want to call the name of the oldest ancestor that I know in my family. She was kidnapped and stolen from Africa about 200 years ago. Brought to this Western Hemisphere, brought her into Southern Island in South Carolina. And we brought her on over to West Tennessee, she's buried in Haywood County. Oldest ancestor that I know in my family. We call her Grandma Mandy, and we all say,
Ashe.
we pour the water to the earth. That's why we have this plant. And normally, in the tradition, we would be outside, but it's cold out there. We're not able to do that. Other times we may do it, but traditionally, pour on the ground. So we want to call the names of our ancestors. Those that we know, ourselves, in our own family, those that we know collectively in our history culture. So as you can see, I want to call the name of Ida B. Wells, and we all say,
Ashe.
continue to call the name, your ancestors and our collective ancestors.
Ashe. Ashe. Ashe.
Johnny Coltrane.
Frankie Beverly.
Willie Major Berry.
Gloria Home.
And as we know, we could go on and on and on and on. Libation ceremony can go on for hours. We don't have that kind of time today. So we say for all those on the motherland, that we also call El Cabalon, Morphin, Tom Mary. We say for all those on the motherland, millions and millions of years ago, we say for them. them.
I say.
All those who died in the middle passage, that we call the Mount Alpha, the great suffering that continues. We say for them.
I say.
All those who died on these shores for freedom, we say for them.
I say.
All those who died by police violence, we say for them.
I say.
Tyree Nichols,
I say.
Breonna Taylor,
I say.
all those many names.
I say.
And also, for those who died by the violence that we perpetrate on each other as a people because we are ignorant of who God is.
I say.
We say for them.
I say.
I say. Just a brief moment of reflection for those names that we called and those names that we did not call. A brief moment of reflection.
I hope you all feel the ancestors here among us. At this time, Brother Reuben Barnes is going to come and he is going to share with us the purpose of Kwanzaa.
Abarigani.
Imani.
I woke up this morning. My eyes wide open. At a great portion of my mind. I looked behind. I had left 24 behind. Here we are in a new day with a new age. My blessing is to be 82. I'm 81 now. Because of that, I always did say the age is not just a number. It's something that was given to me through grace and mercy. So whatever age you are, You are you. We are all a part of this long chain. We all have a purpose. You didn't just drop down here from Uranus or Pluto or no other planet. You came down here with a purpose. We all connected. I'm so glad my father raised me not to call my people ugly. I didn't come up calling women ugly. He said, no, son, ugly is character. You see, it's not the way you look. Of course, so we've been told that they were beautiful, that we were ugly. Even my grandmother, as much as she loved me, she said, he's handsome, but that hair, said something about my hair. She offended me, and I didn't know how much she offended me, but later on I found out there wasn't nothing wrong with my hair. It's just different. I almost lost my job because a white fella told me, he said, don't you wish you had hair like this? Ooh, I almost went off. But there is a spiritual element that controls us. You see, God is God. Even though we are not celebrating in a particular religion. See, Maulana Karenga was the man who started Kwanzaa. And he started this primarily because of what he had seen going on in this United States of America. People were rioting everywhere. He said, we can do better than this. So he studied different cultures, especially the cultures of Africa. And he came up with a program. And he said, we can do some principles. We need to have some principles to live by. And he called these principles the Nguzo Saba. It's a Swahili word. And it stands for the principles. That's all it is, the principles. We have 7 principles to live by. But he started this in the year 1966, I believe. And even today, we're celebrating Kwanzaa here in Memphis primarily because of a lady named Ajua Nantambu. Now, she would want you to come to any kind of Kwanzaa event without your African garb on. She got on me one time because I came to a meeting I had been somewhere singing with a group. And she said, Bonds, something wrong today? I said, no, ain't nothing wrong. But I had to tell her that people know me when they see me. That's right. They see my color. They don't care nothing about what I got on. But because I am a part of Kwanzaa, we try to wear something that's Afrocentric. And that's why we would want everybody to adopt some kind of African clothing and stop being in denial of who you are. Yes, sir. Everybody in your house is some kin to you, but people outside your house is some kin to you too. We just don't look at it like that a lot of times. But I love you, I love you, I love you. Now, especially I love my wife there, And my 2 daughters, I got 2 daughters here and a grandbaby and her friend. And I'm so glad to see them. My grandbaby, I'm glad, Kelsey, stand up, Kelsey, for me. She's 33 years old now. But when she first started coming to Kwanzaa, she didn't know anything about it. But even on Kwanzaa, and some other days, she'll say, Habari Gani. So you have to tell your children and your children's children about Swahili terms, Habari Gani. What's the news? What's going on? We don't have to call each other those bad names that these rappers are making millions off us using those ugly terms, the N word. Now that's even in the dictionary. But I want to let you know that somebody put that in the dictionary for a reason. They got a purpose, and we need to have a purpose too. To research ourselves and see why they put that in that dictionary. So you could keep calling yourself that word. They even got a word they call nigger fish. So if you keep looking, and you'll find out that you are not that. You are not that. Why do our children say that to each other? But anyway, our purpose is to reclaim our heritage and to know who we are, to do things together and stay united, and do these kind of programs that would help us and to be encouraged Because we need encouragement. We need it everywhere we go. And like I said, this is not a religious celebration. Even though I believe that you can't have nothing without God. Because he is everything to me. That's why I believe I'm still here today. Because I acknowledge him. And I acknowledge myself. Ashe.
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 All right, please give Brother Barnes a hand. Okay, everyone, just a little bit of housekeeping. We are pretty in here. There are people that have empty seats. If you would, could you please tighten up so that others will have a place to sit? And there are some seats in the front for some of you in the back. If you want to, please come forward. Brother Omar, can you guys come front as well? Our board members. We got 2 seats right here. All right. All right, so at this time, I want to introduce to you our sisters Frances Barnes and Lula Barnes, the Barnes sisters. And they are going to lead us in lighting the candles.
Abargani. Abaragani. This is the portion of the Kwanzaa celebration where we consider the principles. Now, in your program, you should have a list of all of the principles, their meanings, and keep in mind now that the principles listed are not just for 7 days. They aren't just for the Kwanzaa season. They are principles that can guide you through life, a wholesome life, a life where you treat your brother like you treat yourself. But during this section of the celebration, we like to involve our children because, you know, whatever we do, we want to pass it on to our children, and whether we realize it or not, they are watching and looking at everything we do. You know, you teach them some things directly, but indirectly, they see you, they hear you, and as a result, oftentimes they emulate you. So at this time, we would like all of our children to come up and join me. All of the children. All children, just come up and stand in front of the table, and we have some helpers. We have some poster boards with the principles on them. Just come on up and let's clap and give them a hand and encourage them. As they come up, we want to line them up, and we want the children to face the audience. We want you to face the audience. All right. Face the audience. If you would, though, stand on the sides of the candles so they can see the candles. All right, those of you, just come on over here. Scoot on down. Slide on down. For each of our children, we have a Kwanzaa necklace for each one of them. We want them all to take something home and remember that they were here. Everyone gets a necklace. Don't go anywhere. Stay up here with us. All right. Is that Legacy?
Is that Legacy?
Legacy, come on down here with the children. Thank you. Legacy has been with us for several celebrations. Stand up front. Bring those boards out, please, and give each one of them a board.
legacy.
As they're passing the boards out, let me go over the celebration in terms of the candle lighting. Each day of Kwanzaa has a different principle, and it also has an accompanying principle. And on each day, the candles are lit. Yeah, just give them to them so we can, all right. We have to take time for our children. Excuse me.
It's so wonderful to see so many beautiful and so many of us beautiful black people. And I hope if this is your first time attending a Kwanzaa celebration, that you will take something back with you, because there's so much history that you will hear. And you're never too old to learn. You're never too young to learn. And each day, something different. I've learned, I'm still learning. And I've been a part of Kwanzaa for over almost 20, I know it's been 20 years. And it's wonderful. So just, we want you to just feel free if you have something to share, or if our children have something to share. But we want them, you know, I get excited when I see children. And we need to continue to talk to our children. I've been in the education field. I was in the education field for about 36 years. And I was at one school for 21 years. And that was I don't know if I should say this, the best school in the city of Memphis. I enjoyed being there. But I started out in elementary school. I moved to secondary, middle school, and I ended up, when I retired, I was in high school. I taught there for 21 years. But one thing was missing. Our children, I did not, through those years, I did not know of a black history, African American history teacher until latter years. So our children were missing something. They wasn't getting to school. That means we would have to teach them at home. We would have to talk to them. And we started with Black History. We had a Black History Week in February. Then we changed to a month of Black History. But what I did, I ordered some Black History posters of famous Black Americans, inventors, doctors, just different kind. And I would have my children to do reports. Everybody knew Dr. Martin Luther King. We didn't have a problem with that. But what I expected or wanted them to do and let them know, I want you to select someone that you don't know anything about. The name was on there, the information was on the card. And that's how, instead of a week or a month, we did it year round. I had my posters all outside. I don't know if Mr. Bridges was at Melrose then, if he approved of it or not. But they had to do a report on some famous black person that they didn't know anything about. So I just wanted to share that we need to talk to our children, teach them about their heritage, who they are, let them know who their grandparents, great-grandparents, and just let them know, show them pictures, talk to them. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead with the lighting of the candles, but I'm so excited to see our beautiful babies here today.
All right, thank you. Ashe, ashe. Ashe, so be it. Okay, we on day one, and this is for the audience, and you should have a sheet with information about the black candles, all of the candles. Day one is what color candle, audience? And what is the Swahili term? Umoja. Would someone please very quickly just stand up and tell us what emoja means as the candles are lit? Someone said unity. All right, we'll light that black candle. Day two. Audience, what's day two? Kuja Chagulia. What does it mean? Self-determination. What color is day two? Red. We light the first red candle that's nearest the black. And we only light candles as the day proceeds. So on day two, there would only be 2 candles lit. Day three, what's the principle? What does it mean? And that's the first green candle next to the black one.
You see, we're alternating.
We move from left to right. The black candle represents us as a people. The red represents the blood, the struggle, and the green represents the hope, the progress. So we're alternating. All right, day 4, what's the principle? What does it mean? Day 5, what's the principle? What does it mean? Day 6, what's the principle? What does it mean? And today is what? What does it mean? Now let me add one thing with regard to faith and its definition in terms of Kwanzaa. It's not necessarily a religious faith, but it's a faith in us as a people. It's faith in me, it's faith in you, having faith in yourself, faith in your community. Also, let me add one thing to the Kuumba, creativity. Oftentimes you think it's found or some type of creativity in making sure that whatever it is you inherit, wherever it is you live, whatever it is you do, it's better after you leave. Whatever it is you get it one way, and you want to improve upon it. And that's what Kuumba is all about. All right, now, before our children leave, we have one other thing, one other quick thing for each one of them, something that we want them to do. Each of our children will receive a mirror. Start giving them to them. And when you get your mirror, we want you to look in your mirror. Look in your mirror. After the children leave, we have gift bags to the left, to my left over here, and we'd like for each of them to quietly receive one before they go to their seat. Do you each have a mirror? And this is your mirror to keep. But we want to make sure each of you is holding a mirror. Is there anyone who does not have a mirror? Does anyone need one? Do we all have mirrors? Okay, now I want you to say what I say, to repeat after me, but I want you to say it so loud that the people can hear you. Can you speak loudly? All right, I want you to look in that mirror, look in the mirror, and say what I say. Look in that mirror and say, I am young. I am gifted. I am black. Ashe. Now, all right, now each of you get a fruit on your way to your seat. Thank you so much. Let's give our children a hand. Get a fruit. Get one of the fruit. Get you an apple or an orange and then go to your seat. Thank you. The poster boards will be collected. Come and get you an apple and orange, then go and get your basket over here. Don't we love our children?
Okay, everyone, let's give our children a big round of applause. And at this time, we're going to have Sights and Sounds of Blackness.
Oh, Dunde, oh, do yo. Oh, Dunde, oh, do yo. Oh, Dunde, oh, do yo. Oh, Dunde, oh, Dunde. Oh, Dunde, oh, do yo. Oh, Dunde, oh, Dunde. Oh, Dunde, oh, do yo. Oh, Dunde, oh, Dunde. Oh, Dunde, oh, do yo.
Another part goes like this. Now, some of us don't know. Real rap came from Africa. Real rap. Not this fake stuff that they're doing. As we talked about earlier, Brother Ruth talked about calling river band names and talking ignorant. Rap in Africa, we use it to pass on the history and the culture. It's called spoken word. That's music. So this part goes like this. It means this annual event. I'll say it 3 times, and you just repeat after me 3 times. It goes like this. Ajadon, ajadon, ajadon.
Ajadon, ajadon.
Ajadon, ajadon, ajadon.
Ajadon, ajadon, ajadon.
Ajadon,
Ajadon, ajadon, ajadon.
ajadon, ajadon, ajadon.
Ajadon, ajadon, ajadon.
Oh, Dunde, oh, Dunde.
Oh, Dunde,
Oh, Dunde, oh, do yo.
oh, Dunde, oh, do yo.
Oh, Dunde, oh, Dunde.
Oh, Dunde,
Oh, Dunde, oh, do yo.
oh, Dunde, oh, do yo.
Everybody clap with the drum.
Yeah, boy.
Now I'm gonna put a little bass in your face. Clap with the bass. Okay, bass. Here we go. Clap with the bass.
Yeah.
There you go. That's your part now. Kwa 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 wasante yo. Ile ile oh dunde ile ile oh dunde oh dunde.
Yeah, boy.
A question. How many of us have been to the motherland before? If you've been to the motherland, raise your hand. It's a beautiful place. There are sights and sounds that you hear there that you may not hear in America, but we're bringing them to you today. We're bringing the motherland to you today. In the sights and sounds that tell about our history and culture.
the drum. Clap your hands, clap your hands, clap your hands. Yebo, yebo.
Can everyone say Egungun? So in the Yoruba culture in West Africa and Nigeria, that area, Egungun represents the spirit of the ancestors. That's what you just saw. So when you see that, you'll know what that means. And the idea is this: what you just saw, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to remember that for a while, right? So that's the point. Memory. It tells us, it represents the memory of our ancestors. We must always remember our ancestors. Once again, no matter what religion we all have ancestors. So that's what that masquerade represents. Everybody say Egungun. And once again, it represents the spirit of the ancestors. And children who see that, they're going to be like, I think that's going to be etched in their memory too. So once again, it tells us once again to remember who? Our ancestors. That's what Egungun symbolizes. Let's give it up for yourselves.
Okay, so this is the time where we are going to hear from our speaker for today. And our speaker, who is not only going to speak, but he is the leader of this particular house that we are allowed to be in today. So Reverend Earl Fisher is a movement and ministerial leader at the forefront of social justice and Black liberation efforts in Memphis. I know y'all have seen him on the TV. He is a rabble rouser. He is a hell raiser. And the reason that this church is called the Blackest Church in Memphis and Shelby County is because these people at this church stand up for Black people in this community like none other. Okay? So we affectionately call him Pastor Earl, but Pastor Earl went to Lemoyne-Owen, HBCU. He hails from Benton Harbor, Michigan. He has a bachelor's degree, and he got that at Lemoyne-Owen. He went to Memphis Theological Seminary, and he spearheaded some things. There's some information here about him, and we're going to talk about him later. But he is the person who founded Up the Vote 901 to give people in this community information about the political climate in this community and what you need to do to make this community better. But without further ado, please welcome him, Pastor Earl Fisher.
Habaragani. Here's what the old preachers used to say, Pastor Marlon. I'm elephantly elated, giraffe glad, and hippopotamus happy to have all of you here at Abyssinian, yes, the Blackest Church of Memphis and Shelby County. Can I get all of the ministerial leaders, if you are a pastor or an evangelist or a reverend or any of that, could you please stand? I want to honor and acknowledge all of you who are here, and we are grateful for your presence in this place. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. There's a part of me that wants to say, well, most preachers say at this space, I won't be before you long. But I don't know how long I'm going to be before you. I won't be before you too long. Because there is at least two things I want to do. One is kind of like respond to some ideology that is prevalent in the room, and I know it's grounded in righteous reflection. You know, the sentiment in the room is that we want to make sure that we acknowledge this cultural celebration as not a religious affair. And I can respect that and appreciate that, but I don't think it captures the totality and the essence of what Kwanzaa is. I think we respond that way because most of us have become so accustomed to white theology and white religion that we feel like we got to distance ourselves from religion every time we gather to celebrate our culture, our history, and our heritage. You are at a place that is literally named after the original Ethiopian people. That's what Abyssinia is. It's the name of the Ethiopians. Abyssinian Baptist Church in Memphis is named after the historic Abyssinian Baptist Church in Harlem. That church was founded in the 1800s because Christian Ethiopian merchants, did y'all catch what I just pitched? In the 1800s, Christian Ethiopian merchants. If y'all don't know, Ethiopia is on the east side of the continent, not on the west side where most of us come from, like Nigeria or Ghana or Benin or Togo, or my elders and ancestors are from Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, but I'm talking about on the east side. So people on the east side of the continent came all the way over to the east side of North America, and they were Christian merchants, and they went to a Baptist church, First Baptist Church in Harlem, New York, and they wanted to worship there, and First Baptist Church was segregated. And they asked these Ethiopian merchants, you know how much money you have to travel from the east side of Africa to the northeast side of America in the 1800s? And they asked them to sit in the balcony. And they said, hell no. I'm sorry, I thought I was at Abyssinia. Oh, that's right, I'm at Abyssinia. And they said that and went and started their own church. It is in that spirit that this institution exists, this unapologetically religious institution exists, because white folks ain't got no monopoly on religion. White people didn't start religion. We don't have to run from religion. Okay? Yes, this is cultural and it's religious. Religion literally means to bind. What we are doing is binding ourselves to our ancestors, to our elders, to our history, to our culture, and to our religious traditions. So that was one thing I wanted to say. Another thing, I mean, because I respect that, and I appreciate that, and I think we hear this a lot. And that might be something you need to say at some of these other black churches. You don't have to say that here. We are religious here. We are black and religious here. So that's a good place to clap. Go ahead and clap. That's okay. You at a black church. You at the blackest church in Memphis. It means, as Sister Colleen says, as Queen Mother Colleen said. Matter of fact, name me another church where you know somebody calls their elders Queen Mother. Name me another church where you know there's an African ancestral altar in the sanctuary. So nobody's going to show up for black folks, stand up for black folks, and speak up for black folks more than Abyssinian. But let me say something about Imani. One of my fondest mentors is the Reverend Dr. Randall C. Bailey. He is the professor emeritus at Interdenominational Theological Center in Atlanta. Dr. Bailey and his lovely wife, Jean, have a daughter who over 40 years ago bestowed the name Imani. A couple years back, I asked Dr. Bailey why exactly he and Miss Jean chose this particular name, and he said to me that they decided long before they had children that they would give them African names as part of reclaiming our native history and heritage. So Miss Jean got a book with African names and interpretations. Miss Jean chose Imani, which we should know by now means faith. And Dr. Bailey chose her middle name, Akila, which means intelligent. They were figuring that their baby girl would need both attributes butting against each other in order to have a happy and fruitful life. I have come to appreciate, Dr. Brooks, the foresight with which the Bailey family envisioned their child. They and we know what it means to grow up and live in a world braced and bracketed by anti-blackness. It's a world that requests and tries to require us to embrace and embody the lie of black inferiority. It ruptures and traumatizes our psychology. It reduces our theology to white supremacist visions of salvation. This is why people respond to Kwanzaa overall with such resistance. They claim it's a made-up holiday, as if we're not standing on a land in a city, in a county, and in a country that was given a name that was made up by white men. As if Christmas isn't a made-up white holiday to celebrate the birth of a black Messiah born in the black part of Bethlehem in the spring, not the winter, to a black single-parent mother who got pregnant before she got married, and folks wasn't sure who the daddy was. They try to conceal this truth by making up a white Santa Claus with a Saint Nicholas who was actually black as the 12 disciples that have been whitewashed and revised in the name of white evangelicalism. This is why when a reporter came to this space a couple years ago to interview me, and she saw a kente cloth and this black fist cloud banner over my shoulder, she recognized what she thought were Kwanzaa decorations. And I said, girlfriend, let me tell you something. You're at the blackest church in Memphis in Shelby Kwanzaa. In Shelby Kwanzaa, that's dope. You're at the blackest church at Memphis in Shelby Kwanzaa. I was like, Lee, I said, you at the blackest church in Memphis and Shelby County. We didn't do this for Kwanzaa, baby. We like this every day of the year. This is not some occasional thing. Black faith is not an occasional thing. It's not something you pick up and then put back down. It's not an instantaneous recognition. And neither is Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa calls us to celebrate Imani. Black faith. Say black faith. Black faith. Felt good saying it, didn't it? Say it again, black faith. Black faith. Say it again, black faith. I wish more black preachers would say black faith in public. I ain't got enough time. Let me push on. I'm almost at my time limit. Imani at its core is an action term. It's a faithful commitment to the struggle for black liberation grounded in black faith. And what I'm saying, brothers, sisters, friends, and kin, is we all have to reclaim black faith. We've surrendered too much terrain to white folks, too much ideological terrain, too much psychological terrain, too much theological real estate. That doesn't belong to them. It actually belongs to us. You ever let somebody borrow something and never ask for it back? That's what we've done with religion and faith and spirituality. We let white folks borrow it, and now you niggas scared to I'm sorry. Y'all scared to ask for it back. I'm going to tell you how I know, and then I'm done. I was going to say some other stuff, but I'm going to tell you how I know, and then I'm done. Because many of us claim to be committed to black people. I'm having what Dr. Greg Carr would call a governance conversation right now in his Africana Studies framework that I know y'all are familiar with because y'all really rock with this stuff, and this is not something that you just like drive by during Kwanzaa and then you kind of white in blackface for the rest of the year. We claim we down for black people. You know you can't rock with black people if you're not committed to black institutions and black organizations. And you cannot find, to this day, another black institution with the reach, possibility, and autonomy of the black church. How many people is that clapping now? As such, all of us should be connected to and invested in Imani through the black church. Now, here's what people love to say. You know, them black churches ain't out there doing blah, 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 blah. And in a lot of cases, they right. And then they run into me. And here's what they do. They don't say, you know what, I wish more black churches were like yours, Dr. Fisher, and I'm going to connect with Abyssinian, or I'm going to connect with Pastor Foster, or I'm going to connect with Dr. Brooks. They don't say that. What they say is, them churches ain't out there. I ain't talking about you, Dr. Fisher. But I am part of the black church. And I just think you should be too, in the name of Imani. And if you ever needed a black church to connect to, and I'm usually horrible at this, I don't even really do good in the invitation to discipleship on Sundays. But I tell you right now, I've stood in this space several times over the last several years because we are fortunate and honored to be able to host this. And some of y'all I won't see in this space again until next Kwanzaa. At some point, we have to invest our time, our talent, and our treasure in the organizations and institutions that sustain and uplift us. I'm going to see how honest y'all willing to be. You ain't got to lie. Look at you, can I be black? Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you ain't got to lie. Raise your hand if you haven't been active in a black church in the last year. Some of y'all lying. Come on, tell the truth. Come on, put your hand up high. Put your hand up high. Some of y'all lying still. Really? Y'all just gonna keep lying. This is why we so lost. Because we keep lying to each other. You in safe space. I ain't saying you going to hell because I don't think that's the case. Whatever you think that meaning is, that's causing you not to raise your hand because you know we must be talking about you too. Because if you got to ask, I sound real black now, don't I? All right, y'all, I've done enough. I've fulfilled my obligation. I've made my remarks. I'm offering a reclamation of Imani through black faith in the black church. And I'm inviting you to connect with us. I'm not just talking about Abyssinian. I'm talking about how many of y'all done said something negative, even if it's true, about the black church? How many of y'all done never said or been right around somebody talking about them black churches ain't, them preachers ain't, come on. There you go. The hands and feet, right? Uh-huh. Well, here's your chance. You in a place. You in a space. We ain't the only ones, but we sure enough is one of them ones. Come on with the Ebonics. And I just want to extend that invitation yet again. This Sunday we'll be here. Matter of fact, there is a QR code in the back. Mother Lisa Bennett, Queen Mother Lisa Bennett is holding it up right now. You can scan that at any time and get connected to us. We invite you. I'd like to at least see 30% of y'all back this Sunday, because especially the ones who had both hands up. And to y'all who were lying to yourself because you were scared to admit it because you knew you wrong. You too. You at home. We're glad to have you, because the essence of our history and heritage and culture is faith. Welcome to the Blackest Church of Memphis and Shelby County. Thank you for being here.
We need our cameraman. I got lost, y'all. Did we just have one sound? Okay, so I just want to take, I'm just going to take a moment to talk about reclaiming our heritage, because we are, we need to make up the time because we're running over a bit. But I want to talk to you about reclaiming our heritage and what that means and what heritage is. And for you, those of you who don't know, heritage is anything that we inherit from our ancestors, our elders, our parents, our traditions. And our traditions are being lost because when we came to America or the United States or whatever it was, we came as an enslaved people. We were not slaves, we were enslaved. And what happened to us was our culture was erased. So we are dealing with not having the right culture, not having culture, or what's going on with us is that we don't appreciate or know about our Africanness, and that's what is the mainstay of Kwanzaa. How many of you know, when we talk about heritage, we talk about traditions. So how many of you today, this is New Year's Day, how many of you got black-eyed peas, collard greens, and some cornbread? All right, I just see a few hands. I only see a few hands, but that is a tradition of our black culture. And does anybody know what that represents? Okay, the real nature of that is that the black-eyed peas stand for coins. You always hear the elders say, we're gonna do this for prosperity, because the black-eyed peas represented coins, and the collard greens represented paper money, and the cornbread represents gold. So it was felt that if you actually started out the year with that, you would continue to be prosperous. But I really want to say more about us not teaching our children about our heritage. Right now, we are in a really bad space. Over the last days or two, they are coming to the end of the year. I was looking at some statistics where by murders committed by youth in Memphis, 16 youth were arrested for committing homicide. So what's going on? These children do not know who they are, whose they are. They're not being taught their culture. As elders and as responsible members of the community, it is our responsibility and our jobs to instill heritage, culture, values into our children, because only we can save our children. No one else can save our children for us, because our children are being pipelined from school to prison. So it's on purpose. But just a brief reminder of that. At this time, I'd like to call forward Brother Baruti, and he's going to talk about what's in the name. Can we just go forward with our recognition of our, okay. So if you are an honoree and your name was on the inside of our program, could you please stand and come forward? Please give them a hand. Yeah, we can. Okay. Okay, so our first honoree, and please look, you can look, follow along, is Brittany Thornton. And Brittany Thornton, she looks surprised. You want to come around here? Okay, so Brittany is an Orange Mound Memphian. Anybody here from Orange Mound? All right, let's clap her up. Let's clap her up. Okay, and she is the youngest commissioner. The youngest woman commissioner. Okay, for Shelby County, and she's founder of Juice Orange Mound, a nonprofit dedicated to serving residents, starting with most vulnerable, with a goal of eliminating homelessness. And I know that she has done a lot of work with the homeless community. Let's see, take a picture. Okay, our next honoree is Clarence Christian. You want to step around? All right. Okay, Mr. Christian is a leader in many organizations. I know he is part of the study of African American life and history, which is pronounced ASALA. And he has a lot of achievements. He is affiliated with Lemoyne Owen. So please give him a hand. All right, thank Ashe. Okay, and next up is Christy Chandler. Okay. She is a member founded the Young Actors Guild over 33 years ago, and has trained about 41,000 youth in the performing arts. And she and many of her proteges have worked with numerous legends and received world-renowned acclaim and honors. Her organization celebrates a 98% graduation rate from college. Okay. Okay. Our next honoree, you're familiar with him, is Reverend Earl Fisher. And you've heard you've heard a little bit about him, but today we're recognizing Reverend Fisher for his work with forming Up the Vote 901 in November 2017 to give more political power to more people and increase voter turnout in Memphis and Shelby County. You guys know he teaches religion and humanities and is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. I would be remiss if I didn't say that. Our next honoree is Reverend Marlon Foster. Okay, Reverend Foster is the founder and CEO of Knowledge Quest, and it's a nonprofit organization. The mission is to vigorously equip youth and families to maximize their potential through education, wellness, and opportunity. He's been a visitor to the White House as part of Nations Winning the Future initiative to prevent youth and violence. So please give him a hand. Okay, and our next honoree is Denise Williams Green. Okay. Okay, we have a theme here. I see she's from Orange Mound. Whoop it up, whoop it up. Okay. And she, during her formative years in Memphis historical Orange Mound, after graduating from Melrose, I know some of her alumni are here. And the University of Tennessee, she specializes in neurological disorders, orthopedic injuries, manual therapy, ergonomic seating, and in-home concierge consultations. And some of her memberships includes American Physical Therapy Association, Tennessee's Alumni Board of Governors, and Strategic Collaboration Committee, and president of Melrose High School Alumni Association. All right. So last but not least is Marquez Robinson. And I knew that. He didn't even let me say, I know you from Whitehaven. Don't be getting up. Look, we know Orange Mountain is in the house, but we're not gonna not call on you. Okay. So Marquise serves with the Office of Youth Services for the City of Memphis, and as a youth program manager, he has dedicated his time and talents to encourage and support students as they graduate college, open businesses, and gain employment. And of course, you guys know this is so important right now, especially with the problems that we are having with our youth. He is a graduate of Whitehaven High School, Southwest Tennessee Community College, and the University of Memphis. And I'm gonna put a plug in for him because he's the chair of Blue City Cultural Center. All right, so please give all of our honorees a hand. It is the goal of Mid-South Kwanzaa to honor people in our community who are doing the work. And these are people that are doing the work. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, let me move. All right, everyone, give them another round of applause. And at this time, Brother Omar is going to come to us and speak about what's in a name.
Imani. Habari Gani. I want to say this as we get started. When we came over here on slave ships, we had African names. And when we got over here, they made us give up our names. In the movie Roots by Alex Haley, there was a young man named Kunta Kinte. And he was on the white man's plantation. And the white man told him he was going to change his name to Toby. And when he refused to change his name, what happened to him? They chopped off his foot. They chopped his foot off. And right now we got our foot chopped off. Because we got our names all over the place, but they ain't African names. George Washington had over 200 slaves. We got children named George Washington. Thomas Jefferson had a slave named Sally Heming that he raped and had children by. We got Thomas Jeffersons in our family. A rapist. Rapists, murderers, robbers, killers, all over the place. We got to go back to our own history, our own culture, our own way of life, and go back and reclaim our heritage and give ourselves African names, and don't be afraid to do it. My father was on a plantation. His mother was raped by the slave master. And they named the child after the slave master, Ed Scott Jr. And then he got named Ed Scott Jr., and I got named Ed Scott Jr. on my birth certificate. I didn't realize it was a slave name, so I started looking at my history, and then I realized where the name came from. And then I felt kind of puzzled and distraught, because why would I be named after somebody that raped my great-grandmother? Didn't make any sense. But then I met a lady named Ajua Nantanbu. Back in the day, her name was Talise Matthews. She was my Sunday school teacher. But she was getting me to change my name. I had graduated from Lemoyne on, was a school teacher for 5 years, moved back to Memphis. When I got back to Memphis, the first thing she said was, when you gonna change your name? And as I started thinking about the name, I went into some books in the library, and I saw names that kind of fitted me. I graduated Lemoyne. I wasn't a school teacher. I wasn't certified to be a teacher, but I got hired to be a teacher in Syracuse, New York. I was teacher of the year with no teaching credentials. At an alternative school, we had to be expelled from 3 other schools just to be over there. And the principal was so impressed by the way I was teaching the children, they were rushing to get to class so they could learn science. Because I had black scientists all around the wall. This is who you are. This is what they did, and you're gonna be just like them. And even though they had bad behavior, before we started the day out, look, 3 weeks later, they were jumping in that classroom trying to learn about these scientists and do what they did. But then I still needed to make them understand their black history and their culture. So when she gave me an opportunity to change my name, she gave me a legal document. So use this document right here. The judge's name was on it. And she said, when you get your name changed, then you can go ahead and be comfortable with your new name. And I did that. I looked, found a name that fitted me, Omar Muhammad Baruti. Omar means praise, Muhammad with the highest praise, and Baruti means teacher. And I had to have teacher because at one time I was a Sunday school teacher, and I became a school teacher in Syracuse, then in St. Louis, and then for the past 35 years, I've been doing a voluntary teaching in the prison system. I go into the prison system and I teach the inmates how to set up your own business. And my program is called No U-Turn. When you get out, you ain't coming back. No U-Turn. They even give you the papers on how to incorporate your business. Give it a name, EIN number, the whole 9 yards. It's a 12-week class. I didn't charge anything for it, and I've been doing it for 35 years up until this past Monday. Up until this past Monday, we were going to go to the prison again, and we got turned around by the prison department in Nashville. It was 17 of us that already signed up to go. And this was a roster community that invited us. In fact, the chaplain invited us in May to come to the prison, in May of this year. And I said, what's going on? He said, I need you to come because you teach in parenting classes too. You got a parenting program called Parenting with a Purpose, because you know there are parents whose children are going to prison. They're getting adult time for committing adult crimes. Can you bring the program to the prison? Because right now we got children, teenagers, 18, 19-year-old children in the same prison cell with their father. He wanted us to bring a black father boot camp to the prison. And then Nashville blocked it. And then the roster, and this was back in May, then the roster community invited us to bring a Kwanzaa program to the prison. And then Nashville blocked that too. We had 18 people that signed, 17 people that signed up, only 3 got approved. And I'm trying to figure out why. We ain't committed no crimes. But what they don't want you to do is wake people up. I want to wake you up. Come on, I want you to wake up. Because you need to take your own children and your grandchildren and give them an African name. And teach them an African history. The symbols that we got on the American dollar bill came from Africa. The pyramid, white folks ain't built no pyramid. When they do that? That pyramid is 8,000 years old. They stole it. Then they got the all-seeing eye on top of the pyramid. That's not a white folks symbol. That's our symbol. Then they got a sphinx, which is the body of a lion and the head of a black man. Wait a minute, where y'all get that from? That's not your symbol. And even the White House that we built should have been called the Black House because y'all didn't build it. It was built by the slaves. But we need to go back and look at our history, our culture, and we need to reclaim it. Go back and rename our children. All of my 7 children, every one of them got an African name. Every one of them. As soon as they came out the womb, they got an African name. And they going all the way from right now. My youngest is 23, my oldest is 49. All of them got an African name. Because I didn't play with that. I want you to know who you are and reclaim your heritage and walk in the footsteps of your ancestors. All of them. And they all got anything from the bachelor to the master's to the PhD degree. Because that's what our ancestors did. In Motep, the world's first recorded multi-genius. Everything that was learned by Hippocrates about medicine was taught by Motep. He didn't learn that from just going out and doing it. He learned it from this man right here. And the early Christians thought he was Jesus because he was making lame people walk, making blind people see. But this name right here, Imhotep, is an African name, one who comes in peace. And that's why people say Hotep. Hotep. And this is the world's first recorded multi-genius. But we got to come back to the table. If you need a free document, a free court order, I got one for you. Just let me know when you need it, and I'll get it for you. I've got books at home with African names. If you want to borrow one for 30 days and find a name for you or your children or your grandchildren, I got that too. I let her use it for free. I got about 12 books at home. And I don't mind giving out because we got to go back and reclaim our heritage, our culture, because we really don't know who we are. What do we call ourselves anyway? Pastor said it. Nigger. Right? Sometimes we call ourselves, what's up, dog? As if you're a 4-legged animal. And then you call a black woman, what you call her? A hoe. Not a garden hoe. But that's not our African name. And some of you even call them bitch. And we got songs that glorify those kind of words. That's not us. Let's go back and reclaim everything that belongs to us. That's why when I went to court, Judge Wyatt Chandler was the judge that day. He had been the mayor. And then when he left the mayor's office, he became the judge. And when I went to court that Wednesday with the papers that Ms. Nantambu gave me, I gave them to the judge. He looked at them, and then he said, tell you what, come back next Wednesday. And I was trying to figure out what's going on with you, because, I mean, you ain't trying to dodge no bills, are you? I don't owe no bills. I'm self-employed. I'm a landlord, a school teacher. I don't have no bills. And then I asked the bailiff, what's going on with the judge? He said, oh, he been drinking. I said, sir, he been drinking, yes, sir. So when I went back the next Wednesday, he looked at the paper, signed it, and told me I was good to go. But again, the paperwork, I've got it. If you want it, I can get it to you. The books, if you want to borrow it for 30 days and find a name that's going to fit, hey, you can have those too. I don't know if they got them in Memphis Public Library, but I got them in my library at home because I got over 3,000 books in my house. And if you want to get one of those books, just let me know. And within, 2 or 3 days, I'll have it in your mailbox. But we got to go back, and we got to do that and get rid of these slave names. The street I grew up on was Forest Avenue. I didn't know it was Forest Avenue until I found out it was named after a slave master named Nathan Bedford Forrest. And all they did was they put one more alphabet in the name. It was Forrest. What they did, they took the R out and made it Forest, like a forest that has trees in it. But the real name was F-O-R. And I was trying to figure out why you misspell the word forest, but it was because it was the slave master's name. But we have streets in Memphis all over Memphis that are named as slave masters. And since this is a black city, we ought to have black streets all over the place. We don't need no George Washington Street, Thomas Jefferson Street. We got black activists that have done things to save this community. We need to go back and rename those streets after those individuals who gave their life for this. Instead of trying to name it after somebody that put us in slavery, murdered us, raped us, robbed us, and we okay with it? Not in the black city. Come on now. Come on now. We got to change that. And we need to change it right now with the city hall and the mayor. Go back to the table and say, we need to go back and rename these streets so our children can have some history they can be proud of. So I said that, and I also want to say one more thing. Brother Ekpe has a book called Don't Touch a Gun. And the book is very, very important because it's really made for our children. Right now, Memphis has it's the second highest crime rate in the United States of America. And as my parenting program is parenting with a purpose. Why? Because so many parents don't want to be parents no more. The TV is the parent. The video game is the parent. The gangster rapper is the parent. They can't be the parent, and you can't be their friend. Let Jesus be their friend. You're going to be the parent, okay? What a friend we got in Jesus? Yes, we do. But what a friend we got to have in mama and daddy. And daddy need to come back to the house. Because if you divorce your wife, you don't divorce your children. That don't happen. And I don't care how many days you gone away from her, make sure your children are always with you, always, to the ends of the earth. Because that's your job, is to raise them up and walk them through this world to the highest mountain. So when you leave here, then they'll be thanking you for what you did for them. That's how my father did us. He died when he was 56 years old. But I kissed the ground he walks on even to this day. Because that man right there couldn't read or write, but he took care of his children 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Go to work when he was sick. He didn't care about that, as long as he came home and took care of his children. We got to be fathers like that. We got to be mothers like that. And you can't play with it. Because if you do play with it, and I see it right now, 186 children in prison in Nashville. These are children under 18 years old. And 72% of them are black children. We got to stop the violence. We got to stop it. And we need to rename our children so they can understand this is who you are, and this is your history, and we never did that in Mother Africa. That ain't us. And like Brother A.P. was saying earlier, when you go back and look at the African culture and African history, you realize ain't none of that. Even the rappers, that ain't us. We had positive rap. We respected the elders. We got to go back and do that. But anyway, Let me leave that alone. But on the back of this right here, all these African names, look at them, and you may want to take one home with you and name your own self, like I named my own self. May want to do that. I gave the slave master his name back. You gave me a government name. It ain't my name. Sorry about that. I ain't really sorry about it, but anyway. Kiss my ruler. But I really wanted to let Ekpe come and talk to you about the book that he's written, because he has, what I want to do, because Ekpe right here is a community activist, and he goes all over the earth, all over Africa. This brother is grounded in trying to help his people. And as we move forward, I intend to keep Ekpe on the team, because he's going to be a very positive source of energy for our children, to keep them on the positive track. But he has this book called Don't Touch a Gun, and I want him to let you sign a card. If you got children in the audience, I want you to fill out this card, and then we're going to pull 5 names out the hat, and we're going to give those 5 names, each one of those children, one of those books. But let me bring Brother Ekpe up here. Okay, Brother Omar, how you want to do this with the parents? Okay, this is the book. I'll just let you know about the book. As he said, it's called Don't Touch a Gun, but there's also a lot of black history and culture in it. Talking about the history of our music, we as a people, how important we are. So that's what this book is about. It's been like maybe 15 years in the making. But when you got something to do, you got to do it. Doesn't matter how long it takes. If it's something you have to do, you have to do it. So anyway, we want to distribute these these cards. You can sign in. If you have children. Great, okay. Get a card. Send the children up to get one. Send the children up to get a card. Send them up. Send the children up. The card out. We're going to put it in a hat, and then we're going to pull out the first 5 names. You're going to get a book.
And so this book is going to educate not only the children but adults too as well. So there are several people that I had to write comments in the book. I had Dr. Foster over there to put comments in the book, because the work that he's doing with Knowledge Quest, that needs to be duplicated all across the city. He has a farm in the middle of the city called Greenleaf Farms. Organic vegetables in the middle of Memphis. And we all need to go there. So there's a lot of history and culture in here, things that you will not know, but you need to know. So that's what this book is about. It's called Don't Touch a Gun. Once again, it's very, very important. And I talk about the fact that when I go to the motherland, there's no such terminology in Wolof called youth violence. That's not even in their language. Murder rate is not in their language because they don't have them. Nobody carries guns. The citizens do not carry guns in the Gambia. They do not carry guns in Senegal or in Ghana. So it's based on going back and representing who we really are, the peaceful side of who we are. So that's what this book is about. So did everybody get a card to sign? Did everybody get a card to sign? Everybody got one, right? Okay, everybody has one. All right. So once that's done, I have the books, and that's the 5 that he wants. But anybody else, I have them available for purchase as well. You'll like the book. It's a great piece of work. Not just because I did it, but there's a lot of research that went into it, actually. A lot of research. All right, Brother Omar, there you go.
My sister, come on up here, sister.
Got one right here. Once you fill it out.
You know, when you have people that will be on the front line fighting this fight for our children, on the front line, then you can't help but give them some praise. And we need to give this sister some praise, because she said she's gonna give every one of these children a book.
No, I'm so inspired by you, Brother Ekpe, and all the kids need the book. So any of the kids that want a book, if you sign a card, then we'll get you a book today.
Okay, so while we are waiting for the kids to bring up their cards, Sister Shakria is going to speak to us briefly.
Habari gani? My name is Shukriya. Shukriya means thankful and grateful. My name used to be Dolores. Dolores is a Greek goddess, and I knew I wasn't Greek. I knew I was a goddess, but I knew it wasn't Greek, so I changed it legally about 25 years ago. It's crucial. I changed mine because I wanted to grow into being thankful and grateful. That's what it means, thankful and grateful. And I grew up very ungrateful. I didn't want to wear my sister's leftover shoes or leftover socks or leftover underwear. I didn't want to do it. So I always told my mom, I don't want that. So she labeled me ungrateful. And then when I became more aware, I kept looking at the meaning of the name because I couldn't pronounce it, Shukriya. I couldn't pronounce that for a long time. And I said, oh, this means thankful and grateful. So I adopted it. I am here today to present a nuance, I guess it's a nuance. These are branches that fall off of what we know as trees. My studies have taken me to other cultures, Japan, China, India, Africa, different parts of Africa. They don't call them trees, brothers and sisters. They call them standing people, which makes a lot of sense. This fell off of a big tree. I have a branch at home from a tree that's like, the tree was 100 years old. The branch fell off of it. So what does that make the branch? We have to be very, very, very sensitive about these standing people. Okay? So I'm going to present one today. There's some more over there for sale. If you're interested, just go over there and take a look at them. It is time for us to Afrocentrize our house. We done punctuated to death. Now we got to Afrocentrize our environment. This fabric, when I go get this fabric from some of the African shops throughout Memphis, Tennessee, they always tell me that, oh, madam, I just got this from Gambia. Oh, and I'm so elated because it's fresh. I lived in Africa for 3 years. I'll take a minute after that. Ghana West, in the village. Okay. It was quite trying, and I know I don't have time. Yeah, she's pointing at her watch now. But hopefully they'll have me back on to be able to share with you some of the things that happened to me. It was a polygamous state, too. How about that? That mean I was stung. Anyway, these are the branches. They're wrapped in African fabric. They have all my information on them, and there's some more over there for sale. Thank you so much. I'm Shukriya.
We're going to let you say 2 seconds. We're going to let you say something for 2 seconds. Don't make me ring the bell so you know you can talk to me.
I am grateful. I'm thankful. My name is Karen Spencer McGee. I pulled the first charter to Black Lives Matter with the state. I didn't go with the national because I understand what my spiritual gift is. And you can't make money off my spiritual gift. My God gave me what I got. I've been home 20 years. 20 years. I am so grateful. I love Memphis, and I know that it is the beloved city.
Yes, it is.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Okay, and we just have one more person that wants to. Okay, Sister Moti.
Thank you. So grateful to be here with you all, giving honor to God. We give thanks to the Most High, the Creator. I was wanting to mention that I was featured in the movie The Black Candle. It's the first movie that was made about Kwanzaa, distributed internationally. And I wanted to invite you all, especially those of you participating here at Kwanzaa for the first time. Kwanzaa is celebrated throughout the country, of course, but also in many nations throughout the world, wherever the African diaspora exists. And one of the reasons that I was featured in that movie is because I was a student at Cal State Long Beach. Dr. Maulana Karenga, the founder and creator of Kwanzaa, was my classroom teacher. So he challenged us as 18-year-old college students to say that we had the responsibility, to find new ways to perpetuate Kwanzaa. So he made us know as students that it wasn't just our responsibility to practice Kwanzaa in the way that it had been practiced, but that it was our responsibility to create new ways to celebrate Kwanzaa and to perpetuate the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. One of the things that he always ended with was on Imani, he would say, to believe with all our hearts in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, our Creator, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. So you will read variations of that in various places, but I want you to know what he told us, what I heard come out of his mouth as the founder and creator of Kwanzaa, that we have the responsibility to believe in all our hearts, in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and our Creator, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. And then lastly, I want to again encourage you to go online and pull up The Black Candle, a movie directed by M.K. Asante Jr., brother out of Baltimore, and narrated by the Honorable Dr. Maya Angelou. And the thing is that Dr. Karenga told us that in the end, and it might be hard for some of us to handle this, but the purpose of Kwanzaa, the ultimate goal of Kwanzaa, is to create a better world. So it's not just for us to create something for ourselves. What the challenge is to make black people so great that our presence on the planet creates a better world. So that's the responsibility we have, and I look forward to continuing that struggle, that responsibility with you all. Thank you all.
Okay, so our program is coming to a close. We are going to close with a poem by Sister Stella James.
Good evening, everyone. And I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Stella James, and I'm a God-gifted poet. I am 76 years young and will be 77 in February. And I'm going to share this poem that I wrote, and this one is called Jesus is Black. It is said that Jesus was born into this world to atone for mankind's sin. And God has no respect to person. So it should not matter about the color of our skin. But when we was introduced to the Bible, we was told in its contents we must believe. Therefore, that image that is depicted of Jesus must be meant to deceive. Because the Bible say that his feet was like burnt brass. And brass is brown, so if it's burnt, it is surely black. And his hair was like sheep wool. And sheep wool does not hang freely down anybody's back. Then he was born in a manger, surrounded by livestock and hay. Because when Mary went to the inn, the innkeeper turned her away. He said that at the inn, for Mary, there was no room. He did not realize that she was carrying the Savior in her womb. Then when we look where creation was started, the Garden of Eden is in Africa, you see, which means a male and female African are the parent of humanity. And you might not want to accept this as truth, but why not accept it as a biblical fact? Because according to that description given in the Bible of Jesus, Jesus is definitely black. Thank you.
Ashe. All right. So what a great note to end on. At this time, I'm going to call for our president to come up and give the closing remarks. And then we're going to follow that with Harambe. Brother O Supermoon.
Abaragani. Well, I hope that everyone has enjoyed themselves and heard something maybe that you haven't heard before, or you heard something that will make you want to grow closer to your brothers and sisters. I know that we look around our communities and say, well, I don't want to be in this community. I'm going to move over here. Over here, they're stealing too much. They're robbing. But you can't be scared of your people. I understand that we want to live in better places, but if we don't have that money, we got to fix these places up and patrol them and do the things that we need to do in our communities. Because no one is going to come to save us. You know, it's up to us to be the leaders that we are looking for. Because we keep looking and waiting on somebody to save us, we'll be gone and our children will be all wrong. So we as a people have to come together as communities, with the communities that we live in. You need to know your neighbors. If somebody's houses are getting broken, somebody know who's doing this. So the people need to get together and put an end to these things. We can't be afraid of each other because we're going to die anyway. We're going to leave here. So if we want things to get better in our neighborhoods, we have to take control of our neighborhoods. You can't be scared of your children. I mean, that's backwards. If you're scared of your children, they're supposed to be scared to do these things, hoping that you don't find out that they're the one that's doing it. You know? So I just want to mention that if we come together as a community, there's nothing that we can't do. You know, if you live in a neighborhood where you got people that can't feed their children and you got too much food, you know, help them out. And if then they won't have to spend all their money trying to buy food. They can buy their children some clothes. They won't be running around looking like the little rascals. You know, that was real, the little rascals. Okay, I just wanted to share that with you. And we want to thank everyone for coming out and hope that you heard something that put some inspiration in your heart. And hope there is someone here that hasn't heard any of this before. Well, you can look us up. We're Mid-South Kwanzaa. And where anything is going on in the city, someone in this organization is involved in it. So thank you all for coming out. And again, like I said, I hope that you heard something that interests you, that may lead you.
Okay, guys, so Sister Francis is going to lead us in Harambe.
All right, would everyone stand? We want to form one huge circle. Let not the circle be broken. The last thing we'll do, and we have food for you. We do have a feast. So let's just break out of the seats and try to form one unbroken circle.
All around the wall.
Yeah. Come on, move along over that way. Okay. You might ask permission from the person, if they're not in your family, to hold their hand if in fact they are still a little pandemic conscious. Yeah, move this on over. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, move it on over. Okay. Move on over. Go on over. I'm gonna get right in here. What's up? Come over here. Let's get in this circle. Let's touch. We are one. We are one extended family. One beautiful black. Now, this is how we're going to do Harambe. What does Harambe mean? Let's pull together. The Kwanzaa celebration always ends with Harambe. And we will begin with the first principle. We will say it in Swahili, and then we will define it. What's the first principle? What does it mean? Unity. We're going to do that for each principle. After each principle, after we have defined it, we will raise our hands one time for each principle and say Harambe. Okay. After each principle, Harambe, one Harambe. And on our last Harambe, let's really celebrate on it, okay? Are we ready? Let's begin with the first one. Umoja, unity, Harambe. Okay, now since we practiced with that one, let's do it all the way through. We do the same thing for each principle. We will say it in Swahili, say it in Harambe, then go to the next one. All right, final time. Let's start with the first one. Umoja, unity, Harambe, Kujachagalia, self-determination, Harambe, Ujima, collective work and responsibility, Harambe, Ujima, cooperative economics, Ia, purpose, Harambe, Kuumba, creativity, Harambe, Imani, faith, Harambe. All right, Harambe, Ashe, Ashe.